Na tym. Dzień dobry, witam serdecznie wszystkich tu zebranych. Czekaj, zrozum, że nagrywa. E, Dzień dobry, albo chyba dobry wieczór w niektórych już miejscach. Doczekaliśmy się Nagi. Kiedy ona miała być? W kwietniu pierwotnie, czy jakoś tak wcześniej? Nie pamiętam dokładnie. Potem trudno było nam z Sebastianem zgrać kalendarze. Sebastian mocno zapracowany, jeżdżący po całym świecie. Ja różnie, ale to też miesiące są, jak wiecie sami, jak wyglądają niektóre moje miesiące, że w domu jestem generalnie gościem. Więc udało się, pierwotnie myślałem, żeby jeszcze się spróbować dogadać z Sebastianem wcześniej na październik, ale jak zobaczyłem, jak ciasno mam z festiwalami i że w zasadzie więcej mnie nie będzie w Polsce, jak będę, no to po prostu ciężko to by było rzeczywiście faktycznie połapać, tym bardziej, że to była już z jednej strony przenoszona degustacja, a z drugiej strony, wchodzą nowe degustacje, nowe marki, które będziemy wtedy gdzieś tam próbować jakoś połapać z tymi datami. To o tym przy innej okazji, tak naprawdę. Także słuchajcie, witam bardzo jeszcze raz. Sébastien Follope, owner marki. Dla mnie sama NAGA, jakby co mnie zmotywowało do tego, żeby przeprowadzić całą degustację? Już pomijając ten fakt, że jak wiecie, coraz więcej jest takich degustacji monobrandowych, tak? Czyli już jest coraz mniej takich ogólnych, tak? Że trudno połapać tych ambasadorów marek albo producentów na jedno spotkanie, natomiast coraz więcej jest monobrandowych. Pierwszy raz pomyślałem o niej, jak zacząłem robić, miałem taki szereg degustacji na blind teście, do których wykorzystałem NAGę Triple Cask. To wtedy się nazywało Triple Cask, teraz to się nazywa GIM. Wziąłem teraz ze sobą, czy nie? Zobacz, nie widzę jej teraz. Patrzcie, ale numer, nie będę jej pił chyba dzisiaj. 2, 4, 6, 7. Zaraz ją poszukam. W każdym razie Pearl of Jakarta. Wy ją macie na pewno. O tak, dokładnie. Yes, exactly. Nie mogę teraz tutaj zlokalizować. Gdzieś musi być. Nie wiem, gdzie. W każdym razie na kilku tych ślepych degustacjach goście stwierdzili, że to jest bardzo, bardzo smaczny produkt. Nie wiedząc, jaka to jest marka, ponieważ niektórzy mieli co do niej jakieś tam uprzedzenia. Nie każdy wiedział, dlaczego te uprzedzenia ma i w ogóle z czego one wynikają. I to są te momenty, w których ja bardzo lubię zagrać na blind teście, bo nagle ta osoba mówi, nie wiedząc co pije, mówi, że dobre i otwiera wielkie oczy, jak to jest możliwe, że ten rum mi smakował, nie? Także to była moja motywacja. Doczekaliśmy się. Jak zawsze gość specjalnym będzie głównym prowadzącym w tej sytuacji. Jak będziecie, Sebastian jest mega fajnym, otwartym człowiekiem, jak będziecie mieli jakiekolwiek pytania, nie krępujcie się zadawać. Jeżeli będziecie chcieli napisać, piszcie, zresztą jak zawsze, sami wiecie, że to jest jak najbardziej wgrane. Spotkanie nie powinno potrwać dłużej niż 1,5 godziny. Mówię celowo nie powinno, bo sami wiecie, jak nieraz to się przeciągało. I po tej półgodzinie, jak Sebastian już sobie zechce pójść, może zechcieć zostać, ale to będzie nasze potem takie półgodzinki na takie ploteczki, które wszyscy lubimy tak naprawdę. Więc tak to będzie wyglądać. Kolejność sampli. Czekajcie, Sebastian mi tutaj to wysyłał. Ja kolejność sampli napiszę, słuchajcie, na czacie, żebyście mieli to pod ręką, jak sobie je ułożyć. Sebastian, to be sure, the turn of the samples is exactly what you write me?
This is the one I used to make. I understand your position, but I hope, guys, that you have a glass of water next to you, and I'm sure that you are professional rum testers. So yes, let's do this
Okay,
Let's
okay.
do
So
this way.
Sebastian, let me explain this. Sebastian zasugerował, słuchajcie, żeby full proofa tego 62 ponadprocentowego dać na trzecim miejscu. Doskonale wiecie, co się wydarzy z kubeczkami smakowymi po takim mocnym trunku, że potem te wszystkie kolejne płyny są już zwykle jakie są, nie? I stąd sugestia Sebastiana, żeby jednak ta NAGA, on to podzielił jakby obszarami produkcji, i dlatego ta NAGA wskoczyła na trzecie miejsce. I dlatego prośba od Sebastiana, abyście mocno się potem przepłukali po tej nadze, po tym fullproofie, żeby te kolejne cztery, czy tam cztery, tak? Cztery, nie przegrały za mocno, tak? A zresztą część z Was sampli nie dopija do końca czasami, więc możecie się potraktować tymi samplami też, nie wiem, rano do śniadania, tak? Jeżeli się okaże, że danego wieczoru się przepaliliście. Ok? Także tak to wygląda. Napiszę wam na czacie tą kolejność. Sébastien, the turn is yours.
Okay, guys. So I say guys because no woman. So I say hello to everybody. Really glad to do this masterclass. Thanks to Chris for welcoming me and to allow me to make you discover the NAGA range. As you know, these ROMs are from Asia, so I think and I hope that it will be interesting for you to learn some new things, because the idea is to learn new things. First, let me introduce myself. As say the Rolling Stones, I'm not the devil. Don't worry. I'm just a rum lover like Chris, and I'm in the rum business for almost 30 years now. I've been starting with French rums, working for a French company, owning Dillon Rum, Olnick, and St. James Rum. So I was the category manager, export manager of St. James. So I know very well the rums from Martinique and from Guadeloupe. Then I've been developing my own. I've been opening my own company as a consultant, and I've been introducing on the European market rums such as Riese rums, Optimus rum. I've been the importer for Europe of Cihuatan rums. So many different experience in the rum business. But what was very important to me was to have my own brand. So NAGA is my brand, and it took me. We started the project in 2012, so 10 years ago. And let me tell you guys that working with Cuban people, with Dominican Republic people, with South American people is very difficult. But working with Asian people is much more difficult. So I will tell you the story. What was also important to me was to bring to the market not a new Dominican Republic rum, because there are thousands. There are two or three distilleries in Dominican Republic, and you have thousands of Dominican Republic rum. Not a new rum from Panama, same story. Not a new rum from Mauritius, same story. So I wanted to really bring to the market some things that the consumer, the rum lovers, maybe didn't know or never tasted in the past. And the first time I discovered the rum from Asia. It was in Hong Kong in 2009. And I was there for a fair. And I went to a Chinese restaurant with some friends. And on the menu, it was full of cognac, no whiskey. And in the middle of this cognac, you had a rum from Thailand. And we were all very surprised to discover that they were rum in Thailand, rum in Asia. And I kept that in my mind. And I said to myself, if one day I have my own brand of rum, it will be a brand from Asia. So this is how the story starts. Then 3 years ago, I've been in touch with the Thai people, and for many reasons, the project has not been over, and I had to look after other rums, and I discovered the rums from Indonesia. So the brand really born in 2017 with Indonesian rum, and then in 2019, I've been very happy to be one of the first Western guy to get some rum from Thailand. So today is a special day for me because you are the first end consumers, and Chris, you are the first influencer, I would say, to hear what I'm going to say. That is, as I told you, I've been trying to get this rum from Thailand for many years, but unfortunately, the Thai people didn't allow me to put Thailand on their rum. So I had to find a different way to show to the people that the rum were from Thailand. So I put Siam edition because Kingdom of Siam is a former name of Thailand. I put Kingdom of Siam here too. But last week, finally, after lots of talks, meetings with these people, I can put Thailand on my rums from Thailand. So it's really good news for me. And now the origin is very clear for the reference from Thailand. So that's why we're going to start by the Thai rum, also because the Thai rums are drier than the Indonesian wine ones. And I think that we can start directly with the 10 years old rum from Thailand. Okay, so I would say that it's, that we used to say that there are several categories in the rum. You have the French rums, you have the English Thai rums, you have the Spanish Thai rums, you have the Brazilian rums, and you have the Asian rums. We will talk about that with the Indonesian rums. I would say that the rum from Thailand are more similar to British Thai rums. Okay, a long fermentation process. So you have a higher wine sugar alcohol degree. Also, the distillation is close to 65 to 70 degrees. So it's not like for Spanish rum that goes up to 95 degrees with these aguardientes that they used to make. So it's very close to English Thai rum, but with Asian flavors, I would say. So these rums are made in close to Bangkok in Samsung distillery. They are all made from molasses. Sugarcane, of course, is cultivated in Thailand. Thailand is one of the largest producer of sugar in the world. They have a fermentation process around 10 days. So the sugar wine is 11, 12 degrees. Then distillation in column, okay, and then aging in ex-bourbon barrel, so very classical way of aging. But what is different to other rums, excepted Flor de Cagna, because Flor de Cagna is using the same aging method, is a dynamic aging method. So what is dynamic aging method? It's the opposite of static aging method. The static aging method is the method used by the French rums, by the whiskey, for example. That is to say, you put your alcohol in the barrel, and then aging, and year after year, your alcohol degree and the volume of alcohol in your barrel is decreasing. Okay. The dynamic method could be associated to the Solera method, but it's not Solera method, and Solera aging method is not accepted anymore as an aging method in the world of rum by the authorities. The dynamic method is used in cognac and in the wine business too. Is what we call in the wine business houillage. That is to say that you put your alcohol in your barrel, and every 3 months you're checking the level of rum you have in your barrel. Of course, it's decreasing, and you are refilling with exactly the same quality rum. Okay, that's what Follope de Cagna called the slow aging method. And like this, you have less loss of alcohol, and it brings more sweetness to your rum.
We know this aging process as a vintage palette. Is it the same? You know, guys in the cellar put the same fuel and refill the bar. Yep. The same fuel from the same time, the same
age
filling process. Yeah, the
yep.
same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you know that in these countries you have a big angel share. You know, the evaporation of alcohol is big. So by doing that, you are reducing the aging share, reducing the loss of alcohol, and increasing the sweetness of the rum. Okay. Also, the aging cellar is at the level of the sea. So why is it important? Because you know that the evaporation is because, of course, the temperature outside, but also because of the difference of temperature between the day and the night. Because alcohol is like a gas. When it's hot, it's expanding. When it's cold, it's reducing. And if your aging cellar is, for example, in the mountains at 500 meters or 800 meters, during the day, you will have 30 degrees. And during the night, maybe you will have only 18. Okay. And what happened? During the day, the rum goes to the wood of the barrel, expanding. And during the night, doing the opposite. And every day doing that. And the problem with this aging is that you then at the end, you have too much wood test. Okay. So it's important to reduce also the difference in temperature between the day and the night to avoid these things. Okay. I don't know if you have the rum already in your glasses, if you have already started to test it. It's a very, very, very elegant rum. And that's why it's important to test it in first, because for me, it's like a Burgundy wine. You know, if you start a wine tasting by a Bordeaux, and then after you go to a Burgundy, you will say, oh, the Burgundy is very light. It's because your palate has been destroyed by the Bordeaux. But what I love with this rum is its sweetness. There is no sugar in this rum. Okay, no flavors added. So I say that because on the market, guys, I'm sure you know that there are lots of rums with flavors added, coffee, orange, and everything. And this rum is absolutely natural, no sugar. So the sweetness is really coming from the distillation and from the aging. That is important. So you have all these flavors of coconut, vanilla, tobacco, wood. It's very very interesting and long test product. If you keep it in the glass, there is a great evolution. Very easy to drink.
So if I may recall, it's molasses, column distillation, and bourbon barrel.
And bourbon barrel, but charted.
Okay.
A lot. And,
you can smell
it. Slow aging method, which is very important.
Okay, Sébastien, is the barrel aging in the same warehouse that prior rums?
No.
Okay.
This
is the same producer, yes?
In fact, in Thailand, you have one company that is owning and which is controlling 99% of the alcohol business in Thailand.
AB something, ABV,
Thaibev,
yes.
So they have 12 distilleries and 4 of them are distillating rum. They are also number 1 in bottling Coca-Cola and Red Bull in Asia. They are the owner of the 3rd main distillery of Scotch whiskey, which is in their house. They have cognac, they have grappa, they are very bon. They are very big. So Freya is another distillery.
Okay, thanks.
And Freya is a 7-year-old rum. They have 2 rums. They have 1.7 and they have one which is a blend between 7 up to 12.
Yes, exactly.
So the rum that you have just tasted is the son of this one. So I call it the foolproof, which is a cask strength. Okay. In fact, what happened? All my rums are bottled and storage in Spain. Okay. So for some of them, I don't do anything. I just bring the rum as it is, reduce it with water at 40 degrees, and bottle it. For some others, I'm doing additional aging in various kind of barrel. I will explain. But for the 3 rums of Thailand that you are tasting now, they are all coming from this foolproof. That is to say that I bring in big tank the rum from Thailand, aged in Thailand 10 years, and I receive it as its full natural degree. Okay. So for example, in 2021, I received the rum at 62.3 degrees. Last year, I received it at 61.9 degrees. So it's always changing. It's a craft product, you know, it's not an industrial product. So what do I do with that? I do the 10 years by reducing the alcohol degree to 40 degrees, okay? And you will see that it's very interesting when you will test the foolproof, the huge difference in flavors that you have between the father and the son. And what I do is the second rum that you're going to test is a NAGA Shani, which is my Thai rum that I received from Thailand, aged 1.5 year additional 1.5 year in Pedro Jimenez sherry barrels. So 18 months in Pedro Jimenez sherry barrel. It's not a cask finish, it's an aging. And then I reduce it at 46 degrees. Enjoy. Because me, I love this one. Chris, I let you comment the flavors and the in Polish, because I'm sure that you're much better than I for this kind of things.
I usually prefer to give voice to people because you know when you say or when I say something what I feel in the glass, some of the people could think, oh, okay, he think that he knows that he feel it, and I don't.
I agree.
So
I agree. That's why I never say anything because I prefer people to have their own opinion.
Yeah. But in my opinion, before we ask the people, our guests, when we met this year in Düsseldorf, it was my first time with Shani. Do you remember in Pro Wine this festival? And I was super surprised about this rum because I loved it from the first second, and you know that because I told you then.
Yeah.
And this was the third reason I wait so long for the tasting, for our tasting, because we have to wait for this one to Poland. You remember that?
So, I remember.
So yeah. So because of
thank you, Chris.
Because of this one, we didn't do that on April or May.
No, it was in May or something like that. Yeah.
May or yes. Because of this one, because it didn't come yet. So guys, panowie, jak to tam wchodzi wam ta Szani? Mówcie, co tam fajnego czujecie. W ogóle chcecie, bo to oczywiście nieobowiązkowe, jak zawsze zresztą.
No to nie Szani, tylko ten Siam, tak? Ten pierwszy.
Siam, ale już wiesz.
Idziemy do Szani? Okej, dobra.
Możesz mówić o obu, możesz mówić o pierwszym, natomiast kluczowe jest to, żebyśmy właśnie my nie mówili, tak? Że żeby wam nie narzucać, nie? Co tam.
No to ja powiem tak, nie wiem co jak koledzy, ale dla mnie to jest bardzo taki w stylu angielskim, regularny. Wszystko to, co rum powinien mieć, ale nic ponadto, nie? Taki rum z Barbadosu dla mnie to jest.
Ojejku, to kiepsko zabrzmiało, słuchaj.
Kurczę.
Powinien mieć nic ponadto.
Ale w ogóle w Darka ustach rum z Barbadosu brzmi źle, nie? To jest jedyna osoba, która może to tak powiedzieć.
Ale jak źle? No jak źle? No. To kiedyś to był mój ulubiony rum, no, z Barbadosu, no teraz jakby przegrywa trochę z tymi Navy, nie? Ale...
No tak.
Jezu, no kurde.
No
dobrze
wiesz,
całkiem.
Darek. Yes?
Chris, give me 1 second.
Okej. Słuchaj, Darek, u ciebie z tymi Navy to poza tym, że one rzeczywiście potrafią być wybitne, umówmy się, tu nie ma, to naprawdę potrafią niektóre zrobić takie blendy, że zwariowacie. Natomiast u ciebie to jest cały ty. To jest też Navy siedzi pod skórą, stary. To jak bardzo niedobre musiałoby to być, żebyś zechciał tego nie pić. To w drugą stronę bym poszedł, nie?
Spróbujemy Galeona, może się uda trafić coś takiego.
Tak, do jajecznicy rano, tak.
Galeon Navy.
Galeon Navy. Tak. Ale patrzcie, co chciałem powiedzieć. Jest to taki typowy, regularny rum, jak myślę, że wiele innych można by znaleźć. Jest taki akuratny, nie? Ten pierwszy, ten Siam.
Siam, no.
Natomiast już ten Szani, ja już czuję w zapachu, wali wanilią tak, przepięknie, prawie jak bumbu.
No sobie 18 miesięcy w Pedro to nie jest mało, nie?
Nie, ale czuć, wiesz, i tutaj tu jest jakby, dlaczego powiedziałem, że tam nie ma nic ponadto, bo tutaj na przykład zapach wanilii już jest ponadto, nie? Już jest zupełnie nietypowy, rzadko spotykany, rzadko spotykany, źle powiedziałem.
Nawet nie wiem, czy nie jest trochę przeciągnięty w Pedro Jimenezie, bo jest słodziutki bardzo na języku, ale fajna ziołowość wyszła na finiszu, na szczęście, bo inaczej... Bałem się, że to Pedro, jak też słyszałem, że 18 miesięcy, mówię, Jezu, zabili destylat.
No, mogło tak być. Wiesz co, powiem tobie tak, że mam takie, gdyby oni mieli tylko, nie wiem, 2 dyżurne rumy jakieś i w tym jednym byłaby ta Szani, no to można byłoby popatrzeć na to przez pryzmat, dobra, coś skisili, coś nie wyszło, może coś zrobili, coś próbowali, no, w jakikolwiek sposób można byłoby to zaopiniować. Ale patrząc przez pryzmat całego zestawu ich rumów, a mają ich w tej chwili 7, to moim zdaniem Shani stanowi doskonałe uzupełnienie całej kolekcji. Bo masz pierwszy rum, który masz taki daily dramem, takim deserowym, który w zasadzie pasuje, można powiedzieć, do wszystkiego.
Do śniadania.
Tak? Masz potem Shani, która uderza na maksa pestkowymi owocami, tak? Wiesz, i tymi wiśniami. Potem za chwilę, wiesz, wjedziemy na Nagę, która rozjedzie wam kubeczki smakowe, w sensie na full proofa. Wiesz, każda smakuje inaczej, nie? I patrząc przez ten pryzmat, no to stanowi fajne uzupełnienie, ale jednocześnie mam takie, ja na nią patrzę jako na udany po prostu produkt, zwyczajnie. Mi on wszedł po prostu.
No bo to jest bardzo pijalne. No?
Tak.
Sebastian, so for you, my opinion about Shani is I was terrified at the beginning when you said 18 months in Pedro Jimenez. I said, oh, that may kill a spirit, you know. I come from whiskey world, and also it happens a lot that you have these sherry monsters, as I call them. But it's really well balanced, surprisingly, and so I was really nice.
Thank you.
Very sweet, but also very herbal at the finish for me.
Thank you very much. That was the idea. But be sure that we've been testing it very often.
I can imagine. I would love to try it with higher ABV, to be very honest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know, Sebastian, you have to do that for us. Because every time, some of you can confirm, I think, every time when we do some tasting, like now with you, Sebastian, during the session, we talk about something different, something more, something new, something unique, yeah? And during the session, we have an idea that, okay, like Jarek just said, we have to try it, this Shani. For example, Shani with full ABV, because we are crazy guys, you have to know.
Yes.
We're from Poland. So you know, when we eat a breakfast, we start from 60% of ABV alcohol, you know. Yeah, that's why.
Well, I will put that in a corner of my mind.
Okay, we will talk about it.
At the moment, I have 30 barrels aging Pedro Jimenez.
Nice.
So why not one of them? We'll see.
We can buy all barrel from you. we will drink it before. Believe us. Believe me. So okay, Sebastian. We will talk about it later. Yeah. Don't do the deal with it now, in this moment. But later we can talk. If you agree, if you want, why not?
We'll see.
Yes, of course.
So
give me a second. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Ktoś jeszcze z chłopaków coś chce na temat Shani?
Znaczy, ja mogę powiedzieć. So, I just tried this Shani, and I'm a common, ordinary end user of rums, but this one seems for me very nice, very good tasted. So it's a pleasure to drink it, but I think it can convince new joiners, let's say, to drink a rums. It's very don't get me wrong. Its taste is let's say so attractive for new joiners as other very sweet rums, which we don't like. I will not call them by the name, but this one is a natural and gives a more subtelny.
Sensitive.
Jaki?
More subtle.
More subtle. Yes, very gentle. Introduce new joiners to the rums, and I think that they should fall in love with this one.
Thank you very much, Derek.
Welcome. It's my pleasure, you know.
So I don't know who the name, I don't remember, and I don't see it anymore on my screen, who was talking about something stronger and foolproof. So now I think it's time to test the foolproof for you. The reason why I put it right now and not at the end of the testing is because after we will go to sweeter rum, and I think that as a testing, we are not obliged to drink a big glass of foolproof. The idea is to test the flavor. So after the tasting, after the masterclass, you will have time to drink your full glass of foolproof. But the idea at the beginning now is just to take a little and to feel the flavors, the aromas. So as I told you, something a little bit funny. As I told you, by contract, until now, I couldn't put Thailand on my labels. I couldn't put Thaibev, Freya, Samsung, many words. So I was trying to think about some things that could make understand the end consumer that these are from Thailand. So of course, I call my rum Kingdom of Siam, the former name of Indonesia. And on the foolproof, I put, I don't know if you see it, I put here the, how to say that, the GPS information for the distillery. It was not on the contract, so I put it.
Yes, but Sébastien, explain me something, because this is not the first time when I see and heard that some distillery don't want to talk about some cooperations, some deals, some production processes. Why? I don't understand.
Look, Flor de Caña, for example, they want to be the sole rum from Nicaragua. And there is only one distillery in Nicaragua. They don't want to be like Dominican Republic, where you have 2 or 3 distilleries and thousands of rum, or like Panama, where you have 1 distillery and thousands of rum. And rums are made with Don Poncho, which flavor do you want? Coffee, orange, they don't want that. So you have many rums also, you know, you have many rums, for example, from Colombia. You know, in Colombia, you have only 1 distillery. It's a distillery of Medellin.
Yeah.
All the other rums from Colombia are could be aged in Colombia, but originally they are from Cuba, they are from Nicaragua, they are from Guyana, different areas. So
give me a second, Sébastien. One second. Panowie, pytaliście kiedyś o pewne produkty stamtąd, macie odpowiedź.
Ja się kiedyś pytałem.
Nie tylko ty, ale to rzeczywiście był taki temat.
Wszystko wiemy.
Był taki temat na tapecie, kuluarowo się o tym rozmawia więcej, ale oficjalnie jest jak jest, tak? Ale teraz właśnie dostaliście odpowiedź, co się dzieje w Kolumbii.
So
sorry, Sebastian.
They do whatever they want. At the end, if their rum, it is their rum. If they don't want to sell to you, or if they want to sell with some contract and forbidden things, it's up to them, you know. So you just have to say, thank you for allowing me to buy your rum, and that's it. So it has been for me a very, very long time to convince them that I would not do wrong things with their rum. I mean, if I put Thailand on their rum, I won't add any flavors. I won't add any sugar. I will do some additional aging, but natural. You know, I could be very rich now if I decided some years ago when I created NAGA to make a prostitute rum. Just adding, you know, a bad alcohol, a bad rum, young rum, like you have many on the market from especially Spanish style rums, you know, with bad alcohol, but putting some wood flavors and coffee flavors, very easy to make. And I know people love that, and sugar, of course. So this is not the way I and I think that now these are 3 years, almost 4 years that I am buying rums from them, and they have seen that I'm not doing anything. You know, I'm doing the things in the right way. So now they are confident with me, and we can work on confidence basis. I think that's the reason.
Okay, now I understand.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you tested the foolproof? So you see the difference with the 10 years, which is in fact exactly the same, but only by adding water, you don't have at the end the same aromas. In the 10 years, you have coconut and vanilla that are very pregnant. And in the foolproof, it's more herbal, vegetal flavors, tobacco. Of course, the wood is there too, but not the same flavors are coming in first.
Yeah, exactly. Co myślicie, panowie? Zagrało wam na języku trochę?
Zagrało.
Sébastien, they like it.
It's
yes,
very nice, like sweet, hot molassa. Very good, very young molassa, not second, but first molassa. It's very good heating and very nice to long share. But for me, it's a little bit too strong, but I understand that's foolproof. But it's very nice.
Thank you. But for me, I'm not a crazy guy of these strong alcohols, because maybe my palate is not used with. But I have to say that this one, maybe because it's mine too, but I really feel it elegant. You can see that you understand why the 10 years is so sweet when you drink it, because already the 62 degree, the foolproof, is of course strong but sweet.
Yeah.
Now you can feel the flavors. You have some cask strength where it's burning. It's very difficult to have the flavor. In this one, the flavors are very are there, are really there. As far as I can see, I'm the only one drinking water. So, unfortunately, guys, the next one, you don't have it.
No.
You don't have it for...
Show it. Yes, show it to us.
You want to that I show it at the end?
Which one we don't have?
This is a mock-up, but it will be ready. Bottling is in September. And the label is wrong because the label it will be written Thailand. I was at the printing company today because the printing of the label were today, and I call her on Friday and I say stop the production because now I can put Thailand on the label. So
yes, yes, exactly.
Take Kingdom of Siam out and we put Thailand, you know, in big letters, you know. So in October will come the 12 years old, and it's not coming from the same distillery than the 10 years. 10 years is coming from Samsung, and this one is coming from United Winery and Distillery and Co. So it's different from it's different. It's even more English Thai rum than the 10 years.
Okay.
So you will test it next year or when it will come in Poland. For sure, October or November, you will have it on the market.
Perfect.
So now, guys, drink a big glass of water because we are changing totally of origin and of category of rum, as we are now going on in Indonesia, more especially in Java Island, where the rum are produced there for many centuries because, according to me, and I'm not the only one, the rum born in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Okay. The sugar cane born in Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and the rum born in Indonesia several centuries before Christopher Columbus discovered America, and made by Chinese people. The Chinese people were distillating alcohol 1,000 years before us. So imagine, you know. And when the first navigators, you know, explorers like Vasco da Gama, Magellan arrived in Indonesia, they were surprised to see distilleries on Java Island. So the rum was born in Indonesia, and the molasses was distillated first by Chinese people, not sugarcane, because the Chinese people they were doing sugar with the sugarcane, so they were using the molasses already to make the rum. So the first rum of the Indonesian family is the Java Reserve. And as you can see here, it's written in small letters, Batavia Arak. So Batavia Arak is the name for rum in Indonesia. In Brazil, they call it cachaça. English Thai is rum. In Spanish Thai, ron. French is rum with a H. In Indonesia, is Batavia Arak. What does it mean? Arak is an Arabic name that means alcohol. So, how an Arabic name is in the Indonesian language. In fact, it's also in most of the Asian countries, and it's the second word used to say alcohol, okay, in the world. And the reason why we have this word in Asia is because before the 15th century, before the beginning of the 16th century, the European people, we were not able to go to Asia because it was a too long way crossing the Middle East, the Middle East, India. It was too dangerous because you had these Islam countries, you know, and we were fighting against them, and we didn't know that we could pass by the Cape of Good Hope, and it happens only with Vasco da Gama. So until the beginning of the 16th century, it was the Persians who were traveling to Asia to bring to Middle East, to what we call Iran today, which is the Persian country, the silk, the tea, the spices, all these things that you can find in East Asian country, okay? And when they were traveling there, they wanted to drink the alcohol, because the Arabic countries, they started to distillate alcohol 500 years before us. So the Chinese, 1,000 years before us, and the Arabic people, 500 years before us. So they knew about alcohol. And when they arrived after a long trip in Asia, they say, I want to drink your alcohol, I want to drink your arak. And this is the reason why the name of arak stay in the common language in Indonesia and in Asia. But if you go to Bali, if you go to Vietnam, if you go to Philippines, and you ask for arak, arak is alcohol. So it can be made from many different things, from rice, from fruits, from palm tree, from many different things. In Indonesia, Batavia Arak is a rum, because Batavia was the former name of Jakarta. So Batavia Arak means the alcohol from Jakarta. And the alcohol from Jakarta was made from molasses. So it's rum. Okay? It's rum and it's not rum. For me, no, but it's very important, because for me, it's more a rum than many rums on the market with flavors, with everything. Because normally, what is the definition of a rum? A rum is 100% distillate from sugarcane or sugarcane family, molasses, many things. You can add up to 20 grams of sugar, and you can add caramel, but caramel, industrial caramel for the color. And that's it. Okay? Unfortunately, today on the market, you have so many, I told you that already, because I'm very fed up with that, in fact, to tell you. And these brands are selling a lot, you know. But for me, the Batavia Arak is more a rum than these brands. Because why it's not a rum? Because a big difference between Batavia Arak and the rest of the rums, I told you that it was the Chinese people who have been starting to distillate molasses in Indonesia. And nowadays, the production process is exactly the same. That is to say that the big difference is during the fermentation process. Normally, everywhere around the world, we are using, to start the fermentation process, we are using yeast. Everybody understand yeast, what it is? You know, these small bacteries.
East, west, south.
No.
sorry, I know.
So you put the yeast in the west, and you put the yeast in your wine, okay? Not in your wine, in your juice, and it starts the fermentation process, and then you get a wine. Can be a beer, can be anyway, okay? In Indonesia, like in China for the baijiu, or like in Japan for many sakes, instead of using yeast, they are using rice, local rice, which is malted, like for the whiskey, and fermented.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then they make some little piece of like cakes, you know, like this. They call it Q, and they put this little piece of Q in the molasses to start the fermentation process. But because the rice has already some alcohol at the end, it means that the rum, even if after it is distilled, but not all the alcohol is coming from 100% of sugarcane, but a really, really, really little part, maybe less than 1% from rice. So this is reason why the European legislation does not accept to call it rum.
Exactly.
Okay, but it's for me it's 99%, 99.5% alcohol from molasses is a rum. I mean, is a rum. So I told you about the fermentation process, which is very different from the others. Then they are distillating it in a kind of pot still, like for the baijiu, Chinese pot still. Aging 3 years in teak wood barrel and 4 years in bourbon barrel. Teak is the local wood in Indonesia, and they are using that. We are using teak since the 17th century, when the big companies were going to Indonesia to buy the silk, the spices, and everything, and the wines from South Africa. They were stopping in South Africa. After such a long trip, most of the barrels on the boat, they were in oak, were destroyed, with the salt from the sea and everything. So to replace these barrels, these oak barrels, the British, the French, the Dutch were using teak wood to make new barrels. So it's a long story. So same then for the Thai rum. I receive from Thailand the rum at its full degree. It's around 67 degree. And this one is the father of the range. I reduce it at 40 degree, and I put 6 grams of sugar in it. So you have a little bit of sugar. What is interesting with this Indonesian rum, according to me, especially the Java Reserve, is complexity, originality, and really Asian flavors. So complexity, why? Because when you have the first nose, for me, I have the same nose than a port wine. You have this dry fruit, dry grape. Then in the mouth, you have flamby banana, a little bit of vanilla, and at the end, you have some spicy notes. So this is what I like in this rum, is the spicy note that make me think that I am in Asia, and the complexity and the sweetness. And it's very original to compare with other rums, It's Indonesian rum. So that's why I like this one. Maybe for you guys, for what I understand, you are more dry rums or maybe Jamaican rums, or this is not your favorite. But for me, one more time is very interesting, and one more time, this is the origin of the rum.
Sébastien, don't look at us like for guys who like, for example, only Jamaican rums or high ester or unaged, whatever. Because there are some days we like only dry and high ester rums. There are some days we prefer some sweetness.
Yeah.
Something different. No, it depends on the day. So, okay, when one of my colleagues said that he likes very powerful and very strong whiskey, for example, next day he prefers something sweet. Because
no, but hey, Chris, this is I agree with you, and I know what you're saying, but I'm like you guys. We are all rum lovers and drinkers, and to be honest, I prefer the rum from Thailand and from Indonesia because it's drier, because it's we are more used with this kind of rum. I don't have any problem with that. I know that the Indonesian rum is with this sweetness is more easy to drink, and that's but it's So it's me. I like it. Huh? I like it very much.
If I may, I'm really curious about this fermentation process because in this case, and I knew that from Christoph before, that Indonesians, they put a little bit of rice into the fermentation. And that's, again, that as you said, that's why European Union does not allow this to be called rum. And I saw that buying Pearl of Jakarta, if I recall correctly, in Poland. So it was like rum-like spirit or so. It was not really rum. But from your experience, did you have a chance to taste, for instance, the new spirit, the pure distillate? Because I'm really curious if you can tell that there is this hinge of rice, of alcohol coming from rice.
Of course, I've been tasting many times everything, you know, too many things maybe. As I told you, according to me, there is less than 0.5% of alcohol coming from the rice. But what is important, I think that what is important is not the alcohol coming from the rice, but I was trying to find the photo of the queue, because I know that I have it. I know where I have it. Let me try to find it, if I can. My telephone is almost burning. 37 degree plus plus the plug. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. Not on that mobile. Anyway, what is important is that what is helping the fermentation process is not the alcohol coming from the rice, but what you have on these cakes, this queue. And on these cakes, this queue, you have some kind of little mushrooms, like the yeast, in fact. And this is that which is pushing the fermentation. And you know the importance of the yeast, of the quality of the yeast, also in the flavors that you will have in your final product. So for sure, and I know some people who told me, oh, I have some flavors of sake, and I didn't say anything. For sure, this fermentation process, this different from other rums, brings some flavors that you are not used with in other rums.
Thank you. And hearing what you just said about those mushrooms, to some extent, could we say it's actually a wild fermentation? Because you don't really have a control over those.
It's more natural than it's more natural for sure than industrial yeast that we have today in most of the spirits. You know, the spirit producers, they go to the big companies, you know, and they say, okay, I would like to have this kind of taste in my spirit, whatever. It can be a rum or a gin or a whiskey. With this yeast, you will go more on these flavors, and on this yeast, you will go more on these flavors. So, but yeah, I would say that it's more natural. Yeah.
Thank you.
More craft. Okay, gentlemen. So after the Java Reserve, so what I told you is that the Java Reserve was aged 3 years in teakwood barrel and 4 years in ex-bourbon barrel, and that I was receiving it full degree, reducing water, put 6 grams of sugar, and that's it. What I did with the Pearl of Jakarta, I put the full the full alcohol Indonesian rum in so this one, the Java Reserve, but at its full alcohol degree, I put it in wild cherry tree barrels during more than a year. Okay, so new barrels, and the wood is wild cherry tree. Why is it important? because you all know that each wood brings different flavors to your spirit. And what is important, what is very interesting with the wild cherry is that it's a wood with a very low density. Okay, the teak wood and the oak have a density about 70 kilos by centimeter cubic, and the wild cherry is around 40, so almost half. What does it mean? It means that you have a lot of spaces in the wood, and so you have more exchange between the air and the rum inside. Okay, so it brings very, very quickly new flavors, and you will see that exactly the same rum after 1 year in sherry tree barrel is changing totally the flavor of the rum, even if at the end the end palate is similar, and you will find, of course, some similarities, but the main flavors you will find some sherry flavors, also some honey flavors. So it's interesting to see the evolution of the rum because of this new aging.
Anyone?
I don't see Chris. He was at the toilet, you know.
No, I'm here. No, but I lost this bottle. I don't have this bottle with me now. I can't find it. So I don't know where it is. So I have to yes, this one. So I have to ask my colleagues about this.
We drank it in Łódź, you remember, Krzysztof?
Yes, we drank it. Yeah, I remember. But I had more bottles, you know.
So Sébastien, for you, just a small anecdote. This is actually this very bottle was the first time I tried rums from Indonesia and NAGA in particular, and it was Chris on a blind tasting trying to trick me as well, a couple of other testers, because we've never thought that it's gonna be Asian rum, and we were trying to figure out what are we drinking, and we would never do it probably.
You know, thank you for saying that, because this is exactly what I'm looking for. When the people drink my rums, they are surprised by the origin, by the flavors and everything. Okay, one more time. Doing a rum with orange flavors, coffee flavors, chocolate flavors, whatever, very easy. But when you say to the people, you know that the sugarcane is coming from Asia, how many people told me, but they are producing rum in Asia? Yeah, they are producing rum in Asia. And in Asia, they are producing lots of things, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe too many things now.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys, you have to help about this rum, because I don't have this one in my glass tonight. So you have to say something about this one. No, you don't have to, but I ask you about it. You can do it in Polish or English or Asian if anyone knows.
Just a punchline from my side. So after Krzysztof gave me this one on the tasting, I bought a bottle. So let this be a comment.
That's a good comment. No more words.
Yeah.
It's really changed the flavor after adding the different barrel. For me, it's more sweet and chocolate with cherry, something like that. It's very nice to sit on the beach on the evening and drink a small glass of this. It's I don't taste that what was in Java Reserve. This Asian or sake things tastes. it's almost gone.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to have this sake rice flavors on Java. In this is just as very good rum, just rum. Do not have any Asian flavor for me. But
I agree.
It's excellent.
I agree. The 14 or 15 months he spent in the sherry tree barrel has dilated most of the Asian. Is more like a Spanish style rum now. Very surprising.
Yeah, nice. Sébastien, did you were in Amsterdam in EOS here, this the biggest rum blender in the world?
Sure.
Yes, here. Yeah. Did you was there or not?
I've been there. Yeah, I know that.
Okay. So maybe you know that, but I tell this thing to my colleagues because guys, this year's here, which is in Amsterdam, they have lots of barrels and very lot of tanks, steel tanks with different areas and different rum inside, and on one of them is only Batavia Arak. Only this one. Okay, they have from Panama, Jamaica, any other countries or distilleries, but they have also different steel or barrel. I don't remember now. Only with Batavia Arak.
But the Batavia Arak they have is young enough.
Young, yes. Okay.
Because the Indonesia was a Dutch colony for many years, for many centuries, and and yes, my wife switched on the lights. So saying, "Oh,
my wife did it the same did the same to me some days ago during the tasting."
So what happened with the Batavia Arak? It was very famous until the mid of 19th century. It was very popular and it was considered as a very elegant alcohol in Europe, in Sweden, in Netherlands, in England, in US. You have the first cocktail book that has been ever written, in which by Jerry Thomas, and in which you have some cocktail recipes with Batavia Arak. And I found some text that's saying that sorry for the British people, but the Batavia Arak is much more elegant and better than the rum from Jamaica and Barbados. So at that time, everything that was coming from Caribbean was considered as bad, because of the slaves and everything. And everything that was coming from Asia was considered as elegant and thin and whatever, because of silk, because of spicy and so on. So I don't know if the Batavia Arak was better than the Jamaican rum at that time, but Batavia Arak was very popular. And the reason why it disappeared from the shelves in Europe is because Indonesia became a Muslim country, was a Muslim country, but suddenly the Islam became stronger and they take the Dutch people out. But the Dutch people have continued to make some business with them and importing some Batavia Arak for Sweden, because in Sweden for the Christmas they do the Swedish punch, and the Swedish punch is made from Batavia Arak, and also in the chocolate, in the candies, they put Batavia Arak in many countries. So this is the reason why Shia was still buying Batavia Arak. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit faster because it's starting to be a night here, and you won't see me anymore.
We have night. We have night about 1 hour from now.
Okay, I am at west.
Yes,
west.
Yes. East, west.
So the last rum that you're gonna test is the Angour. So Angour, this one. Angour is also the son of the Java Reserve. Angour means in Indonesian grape wine.
Okay.
And me, I live from where I'm talking to you. I don't know if you know these wines from Bordeaux, Saint-Emilion. You know, so one of the most famous wines is Petrus, Chateau Petrus, or Angelus. And I live really few from here, 2 kilometers, there is wine here. So because I am in the wine area, I decided to make with one of my friends a rum red wine cask finish. So my Java Reserve, at its full proof, spent 2 weeks in red wine barrel. Only 2 weeks. Okay.
How many liters barrel?
220 liters. So you will see the big difference you have between the Java Reserve regular and the Angour only by spending 2 weeks in red wine barrel. But the red wine barrel was just filled out in the morning and refilled with my rum in the afternoon. So totally fresh.
Okay. Okay. Nice. I like it.
Okay, Thomas?
Tomasz, nabrałeś kolorów.
Bardzo dobry. Żona też próbuje, mówi, bardzo dobry.
Very good, and
Very
his
good.
wife tried, and also good, very good.
So you can really feel, and when I drink this rum, is totally different from the others. Huh? But what is interesting is to see that with the same basis, okay, the same rum, by aging it more than a year in cherry tree barrel, it's changing totally the flavors. That putting it 2 weeks in red wine barrels, it's changing totally. So interesting, and it shows to you guys how it works, you know, and how you can really change the flavors and everything very quickly and on an interesting way.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I drink this rum, I really have the feeling of going into a cellar, a wine cellar, you know, during the harvest. This is my, I go there and say, wow, I'm in the cellar. You know? Where is the wine?
Yeah. What about, Sébastien, what about the time? When you decide, or in which moment you decide this should be 2 weeks or 1 month or 18 months?
Oh, very, very good question, especially for the wine. Because when I started with this project for the red wine, I asked my friend Cyril Lawson from HSE. You know, Cyril is the manager of HSE Rums.
Yeah.
And I asked them because they made a red wine cask finish with HSE. And he told me, be careful because wine is very dangerous. It's not an alcohol. It's not a spirit. It's not alcohol at 40 degrees or 70 degrees. It's the wine, you know, it still has sugar and can turn really fast into vinegar. So he told me, really careful with that and no more than 3 weeks or a month. So what we did with my friend, the vineyard is 3 kilometers from here. We put the wine into the barrels, and every day we were testing. And after 11, 12 days, at the beginning was not good at all. Honestly, I was very worried. But then after 11 days, the quality was okay. We love it. 12, 13 days, okay. 14 days, no more, no change. So we say, okay, we stop. And we keep it like this. For the sherry, because you know, many people, when they do sherry cask, for example, finish, instead of buying a sherry cask, I don't talk about whiskey because you are in Europe and there is a legislation. But in South American countries and Caribbean country, no legislation. And even if there is a legislation, the guy give some dollars to the guy who is controlling the legislation, and then that's it. So instead of aging in sherry barrels, they just put into the barrel some sherry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about it.
3 months, 3 weeks, 1 month, very more than enough.
Yeah.
But me, I wanted to have the real wedding between the sherry and all the time I buy new barrels. I'm not reusing my sherry barrels. So there is a cost, of course, but at the end, I think the result is there.
Okay.
You know what is interesting, what you can feel in my shiny rum is the wood.
Mm-hmm.
You have the wood.
Yeah.
This is Guy, before you don't see me anymore, let's go on the candy. The spice rum NAGA Malacca. So NAGA Malacca is a spice rum, and I give the name of Malacca because Malacca is a port in Malaysia from where all the spices were brought, and from where all the ships going back to Europe were living. So all the spices were put all together in Malacca, and all the European companies were bringing the spices from Malacca. So what is Malacca? It's a 2 years old Indonesian rum, so a young rum. And in Spain, I do a maceration of kumquat, jambu. The jambu is a Indonesian fruit that they call also the Indonesian pear, but because it looks like a pear, but it doesn't have the flavors of the pear. And then I put a little bit of cinnamon and lemongrass. And you have 30 grams of sugar, totally transparent, which is not a lot for a spice rum. So very interesting to drink with ice, with as a cocktail basis is just amazing, with coffee, with cola, with ginger beer. Very interesting product for bars and.
Co myślicie, panowie? Jestem mega ciekaw, bo na mnie ja go tak nie zapamiętałem. Wywarł na mnie w tej chwili dobre wrażenie, a wiecie, jaki mam gust? Większość z was przynajmniej.
No, cynamonem wali bardzo fajnie.
Jestem
Lemongrass czuć, tam lemon, nie? Generalnie.
Holender mógłbym dzisiaj pić. Czekajcie, bo to się nagrywa, wytnę to potem.
No, rzeczywiście, że jest taki bardzo do koktajli Bo sama baza właśnie jest tam tak.
Ale mi dzisiaj siadło to, ty, ale masakra.
Dzisiaj to by ci widzę galeon siadł też.
Nie, aż tak poryty dzisiaj nie jestem. Jezu, nagrywa się, przepraszam bardzo. No wiecie, mój gust jest kompletnie w innym kierunku, nie? To
You should put some light because
mamy tego, jakby ja mam tego świadomość. I rzeczywiście mam dni takie, że opędzuję całą tabliczkę czekolady, bo mam chęć, nie?
Ale gorzkiej. Krzychu.
Nie. Zdarza mi się. Mam swoje dni słabości. Ale kurczę, ale on mi fajnie zapachniał, ej.
Jest spójny, na języku jest tak samo.
Bardzo zaskoczony. Jestem bardzo zaskoczony.
Tak jak Sébastien powiedział, to jest cukierek.
Tak, ale
To jest
większość
cukierek.
spice'ów jest cukierkami.
Ale no,
Tak.
jakby powiem tak, ja jestem wychowany na innych spice'ach. Okej. Ten jeden odstaje mi od całej tej kolekcji. Nie jest pewnie, że wypijemy, nie? To nie ma tutaj.
Oczywiście.
Potrzymaj mi piwo, kurde, zaraz.
Piwo, no. Fajnie. Ja jestem zaskoczony. To pewnie, wiecie, no nie będę do niego wracać jakoś za często, ale ja jestem zaskoczony bardzo pozytywnie.
Sebastian, this one for me is, as you said, is some kind of candy, and it's outstanding of all this collection. I love this Java Reserve, Pearl of Jakarta, and even Angur edition. I'm saying even, but it's the same family. Yeah. So especially Java Reserve, it's a surprise for me, and but taste is very nice, let's say. So to be honest, on the second screen, I have a online shop from Poland, and I see that it's very good price. So I will buy at least two on the beginning, 2 bottles of this Java Reserve, because
thank you very much.
It's much better for the new joiners, and I will enjoy with them of this rum. It's a sweet one, and what is important for me, it's important the history of rum, the legend of rum, let's say. And this one, you know what you said. We knew that sugarcane became from Indonesia, about Chinese experiments with distillation and so on. But you know, with this taste, it's doing a job, let's say.
Yeah, okay, I understand. You can explain. Now you have the material to prove it.
Yes, yeah. To strengthen the legend of sugarcane and rum, yeah, ancestors. But once again, Malacca, it's not my cup of tea.
You can add to the tea, to the breakfast, you know.
Here at home, I have few bottles here and few cartons because my stock is in Spain. I'm in France. Of course, I have some cartons for some local restaurant, local bars and friends and so and so. And for my son. My son is 18 years old. And believe me, his favorite rum is Malacca.
Okay.
I can see the bottles are disappearing, disappear. Well, the bottle is Malacca, no more Malacca.
In our time, we usually, when I remember that when I stole my mother's alcohol, usually it was wine. I put something different inside the bottle, and after a few weeks, she told me, "Oh, this wine tastes super different. I know what goes wrong. I don't know, but you know, it's not good like before, you know."
But for sure,
only me. Until today, I know only me that there was half of water or something different. Yeah.
No, but for sure, my son, when he will be 40 years old or 50 years old or whatever, he will prefer the foolproof or the 12 or the 10 years old from Siam edition. So it's for sure.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope for him.
Okay.
Okay, guys, if you have any questions, that are more than welcome.
Guys,
from my side, I've been very happy to spend this evening with you. You in Poland, me in France. I love that. I love the technology now that is allowing us to do that.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Exactly. So, Sébastien, this Malacca was the last one, yes?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your stories. You know, this was one of my decisions that I wanted to do this tasting with you, because many independent bottlers or producers or importers have their products, and they don't publish, they don't tell too much about their products. When you and me, when we first talked a year ago about, I don't remember, and you told me something more about, well, you're here. When you told me something more about your product, I thought, okay, no one can read this on the labels. No one can read this in internet. You told me first information, first things which even I didn't know. You know what I mean? And after that, I thought that your NAGA rams, in this situation, your NAGA rams need this information because people don't know it. And after that, I knew that we have to do this, to tell to these people all these things you just told us. You know what I mean?
You are my ambassadors, guys.
Who? Me? No.
all of you. All of
you. Okay. So now you need us, yes?
Yeah.
I need everybody, you know.
But it's true, because what I would say on the end of our meeting, without Chris' recommendation, let's say, I wouldn't try Nagaram. To be honest, I'm trying to, let's say, I call it that I'm focused on the rams from Caribbean islands, only in this region, because of the history and Navy stories and so on. But we can call it also that I'm close to the other rams. Even today evening I spent with you only because Chris recommended me that these rams are worth of trying. And now I need to confess that yeah. It would be my fault to don't try these rams, especially these three from the Java or Indonesia. Yeah, I need to change my mind, let's say, and be more open for the rams from the other regions.
Happy to hear that, because that was the idea of this masterclass. So you make my night.
But it's a fault. It's a fault of Chris.
Of Chris. I know. I will.
Okay. So, guys, any questions to Sébastien before he leaving?
Not question, but remark. For me, it was very interesting to try the Java reserve. It was something very, very different that I drink earlier. That's this rice spice that was very interesting. And the last one, the Malacca, that was interesting that you use very local.
Yeah, the jambu,
etc. That's change that is not normal for other spice rooms. That is not what you expect in normally. I don't know, orange, mandarin, apple juice, or whatever. That's very, very different that the spice, and very interesting to taste these local ones.
For me, Indonesia. I will finish with that. But Indonesia is the largest producer and exporter of spices in the world. So, if someone has to make a spice rum, it's NAGA. You know. Okay. So, I did it.
Yeah, and you did it. You did it. Yeah,
I did it.
Okay, Sébastien.
Thank you.
When we will see in real life next time in Poland?
If you are going to Belgium Rum Festival, I'll be there.
Okay.
If you're going to Scarborough Fair, no. Then after it's private fairs, Duga private fair. In Netherlands private fair. I might go to Czech Republic, but not for a fair. So if it's not in Belgium, will be probably at the Paris Rum Festival, but I'm not sure I will do it next year. Could be in Poland, could be in Czech Republic, could be anywhere. So Germany.
We will see in real life. I mean you and me, maybe in some festivals in Europe. But in Poland, I think he will be in next June or July, June.
I don't know. Maybe I will come earlier to make some testing, some training with the sales force of my distributors. I don't know.
So you have to let us
next know. Next year is far away.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, Sébastien, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Chris. Thanks to you. Thanks to you, all of you guys. And I wish you a fantastic end of summer and good luck for the work. And have some rum time to time.
Yeah, you too.
It helps. It helps.
Yes, and you have to do something new. You know, we need to drink something, you know. Do it. Go to the job.
Okay, go back to work then. Bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Galeria. Poszedł sobie. Dobra, możecie bluzgać. A, poczekaj.
Tak, wyłącz nagrywanie.
Czekaj, cicho.
Przestań kamerować.
Gdzie to nagrywanie jest? A tutaj jest.